Boom, 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 boom. Hey, welcome to the Tony Scott Internet Show. It is the Wednesday edition. Hope all is well. I am Tony Scott, and it is you and I taking this magical journey. Remember they used to say that on the radio back in the 70s? Those DJs used to talk about the magical journey. Yes, I have landed from the planet Groove. Did they do that? I used to laugh at that, but I thought it was so cool though. Anyway, it's the middle of the week. Hump Day! What's going on in your world, man? I had crisis yesterday morning. I did. Olivia called me because her iPhone wouldn't stay charged, wouldn't hold a charge, 3%, and it shut off. And so I, was trying to figure out why, and she was rushed because she had some video on there that she needed for a film class, and she said she charged the phone with a third-party charger, which is really a no-no. You just use the brand you went with. Some people will say, well, I'm fine using a third-party. Yeah, well, you're lucky because a lot of people don't have that same luck. And finally, we were able to get the phone charged enough where she could email the videos off her phone to her email account where she could get it off of her laptop and then, go to class. Yesterday was the last day of class. And the project was due, and I believe it's a 4-hour class, so I think they had enough time to get it done. She said it worked out, but man, talk about she was stressed, I was stressed, just one of those things, man. And I don't know, man. Just now the battery needs to be replaced. She's wondered how much it costs. I imagine minimum it's $100 though. That's what I'm thinking. It's probably at the least $100, but probably more than that, depending on where you go. You go back to the Apple store, they're going to get you, and they should. Stick with if you got an iPhone, stick with Apple products to recharge. Do yourself a favor, because the new operating system iOS 8, they're starting to kind of tweak where they're not going to work with third-party chargers. So you're going to be wasting your money. And when you get a new iPhone, they give you a charger. Take care of that one. Don't use your cable to pick your phone up off wherever, the table or the floor or whatever. Don't do that. Just some common sense things, I think, is what we all need to adhere to when it comes to our electronic devices. I have an iPhone 4. I don't even have the 4S. I don't have the 5, the 5C, the 5S. I don't have any of that. I just have the plain 4, the version before Siri came out. And, knock on wood, because I've never, ever had to replace the screen or anything like that. So I guess I'm lucky in that. So Vonderrit Myers Jr. is the St. Louis teen that was shot and killed by police last week. Now, police said he had a gun and that he fired 3 shots at the police officer who shot him. His family says he never had a gun. He had a sandwich. And these days, in this part of the country, the St. Louis area, police have no credibility with people, especially African Americans. But police say the forensics came back, and it shows that he had gun residue on his hands and his clothes. Residue was also found in the inner waistband of his jeans and shirt. Now, what does that mean? It most likely means that he fired a gun. Or it could mean that a gun was fired at him at a close range. Just because you have gun residue doesn't necessarily mean you fired a gun. It all but says that, though, to be honest. It doesn't say whether he fired a gun at that police officer or he fired a gun an hour earlier while goofing around in an empty lot somewhere, just target practice or whatever. We don't know. Though, to be honest, it all seems to point that the cop that shot this kid was justified. People right now, like I said, nobody's trusting the police right now. There was a picture of Vonderrit Myers on social media with a very distinctive looking gun. They say that same gun was recovered. Now, for people who are angry at the police because of Michael Brown's murder, this one you may have to just accept the evidence. I don't know. I'm just saying. But this is why we need a civilian police review board. When a police officer is involved in a shooting, there needs to be an independent investigation. Now, I know that because it happened in St. Louis City, the St. Louis City prosecutor is running her own investigation that has nothing to do with the forensics and the police investigation. It's a separate investigation. But something needs to be done, especially, right now, folks around here ain't trusting the police for nothing. Black folks just don't trust anything the police have to say, generally speaking. But, I don't know. The only thing that Von Derek Myers and Michael Brown have in common were they're both young black men. They were both 18. They were both shot by police. Now, whatever you go from there, whatever your jumping point off from there is, as far as any more similarities or where they differ, that's up to you and your perception of what you see and how you interpret what you're told or what you read. I don't know. I don't know Von Derek Myers. I think it's unfair that the head of the police union says that Von Derek Myers was no stranger to police. I don't think that helps matters at all to say that at this point. Because the investigation, the prosecutor for St. Louis City, Jennifer Joyce, her investigation isn't over yet. So why comment? If it's still open, then you should keep your mouth shut. You shouldn't say anything. Because whoever the police talk to, your comments may sway their opinions on what they tell investigators. Am I reaching far? I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know. But what I do know is that Von Derek Myers Jr. is dead. And the forensic evidence so far suggests that he fired a gun. He had gun residue on him. Usually that's what they're saying, but it's not 100%, but it's usually pretty accurate. So take it for what you think you need to take it for, and I don't know, keep it moving, I guess. I don't know what to tell you, I have my doubts. I have my real doubts about Michael Brown. The Von Derek Myers thing, I'm not so sure about. I'm going to be real honest with you. I don't know. I know they tried to look up Michael Brown's juvenile records after he was murdered by Darren Wilson, and there were none, really. So, can the same be said about Von Derek Myers? No. Does it mean he deserved to die? No, it does not. But I don't know what happened. I wasn't there. And I don't know who to believe and who not to believe. His parents are swearing that he had no gun on him. I don't know. I don't know. The head of the National Nurses United organization says that guidelines were constantly changing and there were no protocols at Texas Presbyterian Hospital in Dallas where Thomas Eric Duncan was treated and eventually died of Ebola. They're saying that the nurses who were treating Mr. Duncan their necks were left exposed by protective gear at the beginning. And they're saying they were never really told what needed to be done, and the information was always changing. And that's fine when you're having a drill. You're having a run through on what the protocols are, a practice run. But when Ebola's in the house, things have to be concrete as much as possible. And that's why I believe what the National Nurses United are saying, that nothing was really concrete as possibly could be. Now, the hospital released a statement saying, we take compliance seriously, yada, yada, yada. They say what they're supposed to say. I don't begrudge them for that. I don't think there's anything wrong with saying that, because they feel like they did everything they could. Question is that in fact true? You can believe that if you're the hospital. You can say we did all the right things. But then on further review, things may be pointed out and says, no, you weren't supposed to do it like this. Where did you get that from? So it's an ongoing thing with this Ebola thing, and I don't know what the answer is. There's a gentleman who was working on the west coast of Africa and was in Kansas City, and they had him, I think they had him in quarantine at a hospital, and they tested him and all that. Turns out tests are negative. He does not have Ebola. But this thing is a real thing in our country. And we need the best of the best. And some people are saying, how come the only person in this country who's died of Ebola is black, but the other white people who came to this country and got treated for Ebola, they're all still alive? What is that? Is that a real thing? As far as, is that a race thing or what? Because some people believe that, but there are some people who believe that race is tied to everything. I believe race is tied to a lot of things. I don't necessarily believe that it's tied to everything, every single, literally everything. But I know in the St. Louis area, that percentage is really high, though, because we have some racial problems here that we are just now starting to really admit to and to understand and things like that. So hopefully that'll evolve into something positive. I was reading, do you remember Marissa Alexander? Marissa Alexander, this is what's going on when the Trayvon Martin was murdered by George Zimmerman. This is a separate thing in Florida, but Marissa Alexander apparently was threatened by her husband. And he had been abusing her. And he said something to the effect like, I'm going to kill you. And so she had a gun, so she fired a warning shot. And she had to go to court for that, and she got convicted. She got 20 years. She got 20 years, and everybody was like, what the hell is that? She was trying to use the stand my ground thing, same as George Zimmerman did, but her defense was rejected by the jury. And so she was convicted. It didn't work out for her. Well, I was reading yesterday that apparently she's going to get a new trial. And some people are saying, why give her a new trial? Let the woman go. Let her out. Well, it don't work that way all the time. We base a lot of what we think we know on Law and Order, on CSI. We base a lot of what we think we know on the First 48. The First 48, I had to quit watching the First 48 because that show depressed me so much that I didn't want to get out of the bed. And I kept my shades drawn in my bedroom. It just brought me down. But the thing to remember about the First 48 is that it's based mostly in Miami. They do some Memphis cases, and they do a couple other cities, Dallas, I think. But every state is different as far as how they handle their own justice. Everything is different. And you have to keep that in mind when you watch those quote-unquote non-scripted shows, that you have to be aware that the law doesn't apply the same everywhere. And sometimes in some states it varies from county to county. And you have to kind of like remember that. But I'm happy to see that Marissa Alexander is getting a new trial, and that she is also, I think the jury will get it right this time. I think so. But we'll have to wait and see, right? Hey, the African National Congress Youth League would like Nicki Manaj to return a $10 million deposit to appear at a festival. Now, understand something. This is a non-refundable deposit. The festival was canceled for inadequate facilities, whatever that means. And the African National Congress Youth League feels that Nicki Manaj has a duty to herself to pay back the money. They say she didn't work for the money, and there are lots of charities she can donate the money to. Now, I'm quoting now. They're quoted as saying, we don't want taxpayers' money spent on boob jobs. Okay, first of all, if you've ever seen a picture of Nicki Manaj, a boob job is the last thing Nicki Manaj needs. Okay? She's the lady stacked. Okay? But if you want her to give the money back, this ain't the way to go about it, by insulting her and just assuming she's going to blow the money. The second thing is, you signed a document saying that this deposit was non-refundable. If that's the case, you need to walk away. Because it really would, then it's really up to her to give it back. And if she decides not to give it back, nobody can be mad at her. A deal is a deal. Because if you were paying her an amount to perform, and for whatever reason she couldn't make it to Africa for this festival, and she didn't show up, you would be suing her. Right? Because she signed a document saying she would appear, and you paid her some of the money and things like that, right? So now that beyond her control, this festival got canceled because of inadequate facilities, which kind of sounds like there was some mismanagement going on there. I'm not sure. But you can't expect her to give back. First of all, who agrees to put down a non-refundable $10 million deposit. Who says, yeah, we can do that? Who does that? Who signed off on that? Because that's the one you need to be giving the side eye to. I mean, who does that? $10 million, a non-refundable $10 million deposit. All she did was ask for it. And y'all said, yeah, no problem. We can do that. Came back to bite you on the butt. That ain't right. Hey, give me about 30 seconds, and then I'm going to tell you who the latest celebrity is whose account got hacked and nude pictures are apparently going up. 30 seconds, I'll tell you on the Tony Scott Internet Show.
Do you want to reach an audience that you haven't tapped into yet and not blow your budget? The Tony Scott Internet Show is new, growing, and available to you. Advertising on the Tony Scott Internet Show is extremely affordable. Contact us at advertise@tonyscottshow.com.
Yes, we're back on the Tony Scott Internet Show. We just posted early this morning a brand new Men on Everything. Men on Everything is a vlog, a video show on YouTube that I do with Troy Johnson and Mark Clark. We talk about everything. We talk about Ebola. We talk about Ferguson. We talk about pop culture. We talk about all kinds of stuff. And it's up. You can check it out. Go to Men On when you get to talking360.com there at the top. So it doesn't seem like there's any end in sight for these celebrities who had their pictures hacked, mostly female celebrities, and mostly white celebrities, women. But there have been some black women who've been hacked: Rihanna, Megan Good, Gabrielle Union, and now another, supposedly the latest on the list, Keke Palmer. I don't even want to see, because I mean, I know Keke's of age, but I got a daughter older than her. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that, man. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see naked pictures of Keke Palmer. Now, she hasn't commented on it, as far as I know, as of like this morning, being Wednesday. But if it's true, look, young people, they're going to make mistakes. It's going to happen. But y'all need to, and I know y'all don't like to learn. Young people don't like to learn from other people's mistakes. You guys mostly like to make your own mistakes. But this is one thing that I need to insist on that you learn from Megan Good, from Gabrielle Union, now from apparently Keke Palmer, that you need to stop. Stop. If you're taking nude pictures with your phone, if you're storing nude pictures or video anywhere other than on a CD that's under your bed, under your mattress, you're just asking for trouble. If there's any way that it can be accessed through the internet, you're just asking for trouble. Password protected, whatever. You're asking for trouble, because these hackers, these are people who have been toying with computers since they were out of the womb. You know what I'm saying? So you guys, I'm telling you, I would be mortified if one of my 3 daughters had nude pictures that showed up. I wouldn't want to see the pictures. My wife would probably look at the pictures because those are her daughters. But these are my daughters, and I just don't want to see naked pictures of my daughters. I don't want to see that. I just know. I don't. And I'm kind of disappointed in Keke Palmer, but you know what? She's got to make her own life. She's got to make her own mistakes, and she's got to live her life her way. I'm not her father. You know, she doesn't even know me. It just makes no sense to me. Young people, stop with them. Stop that. Stop with the nude pictures and saving them on your phone or your tablet or your computer or your cloud. Don't do that. If you don't have it only on a CD or a DVD, and like I said, unless it's under your mattress or under lock and key in a safe, even then, supposedly that's what happened to Pam Anderson when she was married to Tommy Lee. That it was in a safe. There was some construction going on at the house. The safe was open. Somebody from the construction company went there and got it. I don't really believe that, but supposedly that's what happened. And then when they figured it was out, they figured, hey, let's cash in, and they did. So anytime you have a sex tape and you're mortified by it, and then all of a sudden you're cool with it, and you cut a deal with Vivid or whoever to distribute your X-rated video or pictures or whatever, then nah. You know, if it smells like crap, it is crap. You know, Mimi Foss finally came clean and said that, you know, it wasn't a leak. It wasn't leaked. It was the stage. I mean, the lighting was too good. The microphone, the boom mic was, you know, the audio was phenomenal. I mean, come on, man. I mean, you must have incredible lighting in your house to be able to do it like that. So, I mean, stop it. Just stop. Have you seen the commercial McDonald's is running where people are talking to, I don't know, maybe they're talking in a microphone or something, talk to a McDonald's picture, asking the question, because they got a new campaign to address rumors about the pink slime and the other nastiness that's alleged to be on their meat, why their meat never rots. You know, like, are your ingredients 100% pure? You know? And of course they're going to answer yes. I mean, what are they going to say? Well, you know, pure is a word that means different things to different people. They're not going to answer it like that. They're going to be like, come on. They're going to say, yeah, our meat it's the real deal Holyfield. You know, they're going to say that. I mean, they're not going to say, yeah, pure. What exactly do you mean by pure? Pure as if, you know, it was from a perfect cow with no problem. Because we got to admit to you, there's a couple of cows that had bunions on their hooves. And yeah, we went ahead and went in on them and made them hamburgers and stuff like that. If that's not pure by your standards, then yeah, maybe not pure. It just depends on what you mean by pure. So, I mean, come on, man. What do people expect McDonald's to say in these commercials? That, yeah, we have put out some pretty foul meat. They're not going to say that. They're going to say everything is great. This is why we've served over 200 billion people and why people still come to us and things like that. But, you know, I saw a story about some disgruntled employee stole the company vehicle. Happens all the time. But when your company vehicle is like a freight train, that's a little different, right? This person apparently stole a freight train. Where are you going on a freight train, man? Everybody knows you got two directions to go into, right? That way or that way. Really? You're going to steal a freight train from the company that pissed you off. Oh, man. I don't know, man. And what's with this woman? She lived with her husband's dead corpse for 9 months because he had a wish that after he died, he wanted her just to put him somewhere and let the birds eat his body. So just leave the door open, the birds will come in. But she says the birds only got as far as like the air conditioner. You know? And it never really happened that way. And the prosecutors are saying, you're crap. You're so full of it. First of all, she's being charged because by law, you're supposed to report a death. And she did not. And so there's a charge there for that. But even on top of that, this happened in Indianapolis. On top of that, apparently, she kept collecting his checks, his retirement checks. He was 88 years old. And from the looks of things, she's not 88. She look like she's even close to 88. So he must have been considerably older than her. But she's in trouble because they're saying you're stealing money. You didn't report his death. You foul. You foul, man. That's what we're saying. So, hey, and they said he was in another room. He was there for like months. It rotting on the floor, left a ridiculous, just a gruesome looking stain on the floor, on the carpet. It just, I don't know how people rationalize that they're going to do that. I mean, I understand if you're, financially you're strapped and everything. Trust me, I get that. But not to the point where you're going to let your husband just rot on the floor so you can keep getting his checks. At least take him out back and bury him. Put him in a car, roll him up in something, put him in the trunk, and then dump him some. Don't just leave him in the house to rot like that. Wow. And a woman in the UK apparently got her arm stuck in the toilet for 4 hours because her false teeth fell in the toilet. Granny Zhang is 85 years old. She was trying to fish out her false teeth. This actually happened in China. And her arm got stuck. 4 hours. So let me ask you. So let's say you've got false teeth, uppers and lowers, and they fall in the toilet. At home. At home. Are you going in after them? I mean, because basically it's that's you've used that and you live alone, so that's your deal. That's your stuff in the toilet. I mean, it's a clean toilet. I mean, but there's some remnants, I'm sure. I mean, are you going to get it out in the fish? Now, if you're in a mall somewhere or at the grocery store or a restaurant at a football game or something like that and it falls in the toilet, no, by all means, you need to leave it there. But if it happens at home, you know, especially like if you're elderly, you know, you're on a fixed income and it's at home, I'll take them out, you know, I'll run them through some hot water for a while, not in the dishwasher, don't want to mess them up. But what are you going to do? I don't know what I would do. I'm pretty sure if it happened at home, I would probably clean them off and throw them back in. If it happened at home. If I lived at home by myself and I'm the only one who uses that bathroom, I'm kind of pretty sure I would do that, but I'm not 100% sure on that, though. What about you? As they say, leave me a comment. And what about the Dallas Cowboy football player who was arrested for shoplifting? He's their backup running back, Joseph Randle. He currently makes about $500,000 a year. He got arrested for shoplifting a pack of drawers and a tester bottle of Gucci cologne from a Dillard's on Monday night at the Stonebriar Center Mall in Frisco, Texas. He's charged with a misdemeanor Class B theft of between $50 and $500. He was released at 1:20 in the morning on Tuesday. Store security officers were watching him via closed-circuit surveillance. And he did buy an item at the perfume counter. Then he walked to the underwear section and put some drawers in his bag. Then he got stopped in the parking lot. It was a 2-pack of black polo underwear valued at $39.50 and almost a full tester bottle of Gucci Guilty Black Cologne that goes for about $84. He was a 5th-round draft pick in 2013. He's rushed for 113 yards on 16 carries. He plays behind DeMarco Murray, who's the leading rusher in the NFL. He did rush for 52 yards on 5 carries in the Cowboys win over Seattle this past weekend. You're making $500,000 a year, man. You got to steal drawers and some perfume or cologne. I don't understand that. Does Jerry Jones keep him on? Now, if Jimmy Johnson were the coach of the Dallas Cowboys still, he'd cut him. Jimmy Jones once cut a player for falling asleep in a practice meeting. That's legendary, you know? Will Jerry Jones do the same thing? Jerry Jones is the owner, president, and general manager of the Dallas Cowboys. I think most of you guys would say, nah, I ain't gonna let him lose his job over something like that. And I agree. I agree. I don't think you should lose your job over that. Have you embarrassed the team? Yes, you have. Yes, you have. And in this climate, this current climate where the NFL is catching it from all sides, the Ray Rice incident, the Adrian Peterson incident, the Ray McDonald incident. I mean, that's just the top 3 I can think of off the top of my head. But if you've got all that going on, and then you got one player who decides to shoplift some underwear or some cologne from a Dillard's, even though he's making $500,000 a year, the first thing you want to do is, you know, we got to trim, you got to thin the herd, man. But I just, and maybe because I know about unemployment, you know, and I know how tough that is. You know, do you get fired for that? I don't think so. No, I don't think so. But there has to be a penalty to pay, you know, suspended for the rest of the season? No, but I would say that's got to be worth at least 1 game and maybe 2. And that's without pay. So $500,000 averaged out over 16 games. I don't know what that is, but it'd be pretty, you know, that's a pretty good chunk of change though. So I would be okay 1 or 2 games without pay. Yeah, but to completely lose his job, get cut from the squad, nah, I don't see it. What do you think? You can leave a comment below where I post this on talking360.com or I'll put it on Facebook or wherever. Leave me a comment. I'm going to set up something. Actually, I have it, I think, on the Tony Man page at Talking360. This thing called Speak Pipe, where you can actually leave me a comment on my website and I will play it back on the radio. So if you'd like to do that, I'll get an email saying someone left a comment. If you want to comment on one of these three things or if anything that I talked about today, you can. I'll check it, and then, I'll play it back and stuff like that. All right? Now, don't ask me why I'm not working on the radio right now and all stuff like that. That's something I'm not ready to get into right now. So, but if you want to talk about stuff that I've talked about during the show, that's okay. All right, but the other stuff about the job now, that's all right. Let's move on from that. Okay, I'll leave it right there. Though we're at 30 minutes. Man, it went by fast today. I so appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule to give me a half hour to give you this show Monday through Friday. It means the world to me. I hope I'm fulfilling my obligation by giving you some compelling content, giving you, kind of sort of what I gave you on the radio when I did the radio show. If you're here in St. Louis, or if you're familiar with me, if you're not familiar with my radio, I did a radio show in St. Louis, and I'll just say this, for over 25 years, and it was a content-driven show. It wasn't like, 12 records an hour and stuff like. It wasn't that. I talked about things, talked about a lot of things, and if hopefully I'm coming close to delivering, if not exceeding it, but I appreciate you listening. If you can give this a thumbs up, a like on Facebook, a thumbs up on YouTube, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel, things like that, share it, repost it, things like that. That helps me more than you can say. More than you can say. I'm just being honest with you. So I appreciate you, man. God bless you all. Have a great Wednesday. Come on, Cardinals. You guys lost because of a throwing error. Let's get back on track tonight in San Francisco, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.